Hi everyone, hello, how are you doing? I hope you are doing good. So welcome to another chapter, chapter 9, Human Health and Disease. As the name itself suggests that this chapter is going to be about immunity and different types of diseases that is there in your syllabus that we are going to cover. So we can begin directly. In this video, we are going to talk about what is immunity, different type of immunity, and in that type, we are going to see what is innate immunity, and again in innate immunity there are further examples and further types in it. So let's begin. Health versus disease. Basically, we should know what's the difference between health and disease. So if I tell you what is health, so it's basically health in general sense is what, wherein physically, mentally and socially we are sound. Yes, physically, mentally and socially we are in a peaceful or in a state wherein complete physical, mental, and social well-being is there. Okay. So this health, the physical, mental, and social well-being of an individual can be affected by, it can be affected by either genetic disorders, or it can be affected by any infection, change in lifestyle, like food. If you're having more amount of outside food, junk food, then amount of water that you are taking in, rest, how much rest you are actually taking, exercise habits, etc. All these things will affect your health. Okay. Condition necessary for good health will be what? Good physical immunity, good physical well-being. Social environment should also be appropriate for the good physical well-being of an individual as well as mental. Okay. Also, economic condition plays a very important role in the health. Yes. So there should be social equality and harmony among the communities and in the society for the overall health of an individual or the overall health of the community. Opposite of health will be what? Disease. When the mind influences the immune system, okay, either to neural or endocrine system, and thereby health is when the functioning of the organs or the systems of the body is adversely affected. Okay, so in case of any infection, in case of any mental stress, in case of any economic condition, okay, so that has an effect on the brain and it has an effect on the immune system. Okay, talking about the environmental and economic and social pressure or social unfavorable condition, they might not directly cause you a disease, but they will have an effect on the body, which will slowly and steadily, affect the functioning of the organ or systems of your body. Okay. In turn, indirectly, it might lead to a disease condition if it's going for a prolonged period of time. Okay. So this is a general understanding about what is health and what is disease. So when we talk about health, obviously we will be talking about immunity. Immunity is something that is good immunity will give you good health. Okay. So in general understanding, immunity is what? The ability of your body to fight back any disease causing organism. Okay. So your body is prepared, your body fight backs if any foreign particle or if any foreign agent has entered into your body. If your body is able to fight back and throw that particular disease causing organism, then we can say that your immunity is good, your immunity is well. Okay. If your immunity is weak, then chances of you acquiring that disease is very high. Okay. So immunity can be divided broadly into two types. One is acquired immunity and one is innate immunity. As you see the definition of, division over here, acquired immunity and innate immunity. Now, beginning with innate immunity means what? See, the name itself is telling you. Innate is something that is present from birth only. Okay. Uh, uh, Innate immunity mechanisms are fully functional without previous exposure to an unwanted substances. Okay. Means what? This is present from birth. Certain immune cells are there in your body already. Okay. They do not require any disease causing organism to come in, and then they will fight back, and through that you acquire you adapt to that particular disease causing organism. That's not the case in innate. Naturally from birth it is there. So the cells and the antibodies under the innate immunity is there in your body. which will be capable of fighting back the disease-causing organism. And acquired is what? Acquired is something, if you get an infection, then your immune system is exposed to that particular new, what do you say, foreign antigen or foreign agent. Now your body recognizes it, tries to, mount an immune response and try to get away with it. So in this period, in this course of immune reactions that is happening, your body is acquiring immunity to fight back that particular disease-causing organism. Okay, and acquired immunity, you have different types of acquired immunity that is very much specific in what kind of foreign antigen is coming into the body. So acquired immunity is dependent upon the exposure to specific antigen. Yes, so acquired immunity is very much specific. Innate immunity is very general. This is just a brief understanding, a brief introduction to innate and acquired. As and when we are moving forward, you will understand innate and acquired in much more detail. So let's begin. The innate immunity. Now, innate, we are talking about innate immunity. Once we are done with innate, then we'll move to the acquired. Now, what are we saying? What is innate immunity? Something which is present naturally from birth. Okay. Now, the first type of innate immunity is the physical and chemical barriers. Now, this is something that is already present, that is naturally present from birth. Okay. Physical barrier. Can you guess what are the physical barriers that can play a role in protecting you from any bacterial infection or any viral or anything? So basically skin, very good. So skin, mucous membrane will serve as a protective barrier. Mucous membrane, which is there in your nose, okay, the slimy, sticky substance, which helps in trapping the foreign antigen while you are breathing or while you are eating. Okay, then skin is there, which is the very first physical barrier that prevents any foreign antigen to have an entry inside the body. Then upper respiratory tract has cilia to remove the trap particles. Yes, when we were doing circulation, we saw the respiratory system, upper respiratory tract, the parts and function of it, the nose and the mucous lining along with the cilia which is present. It helps in trapping any antigen, any foreign organism that is coming inside the body. It helps to trap it, and it will eventually throw out of the body. Okay, either through mucus or through collected dust particles. Then also your skin produces oil, right? The oil glands that are there in the skin, they will secrete certain chemicals, which is harmful for any bacteria to actually gain inside gain entry inside the skin. Okay, so these oil glands are also very important. Yes, sometimes we are sweating more in the summers. So the sweat, okay, along with the oil, they are having certain chemicals which will keep the viruses, bacteria mostly away from getting inside into the body. Also, if at all they reach the body, then the stomach is there. The stomach is having high acidic environment. Okay, the pH of the stomach is 2, which is not very much favorable for most of the microorganisms to survive. So there, most of the microorganisms are killed. Also, normal flora in the intestine and other areas outcompete potential pathogens. Now, in your system, on your body from head to toe, outside and inside, there are certain regions wherein there is normal flora, good bacteria, you can say, bacteria which habitat your skin or habitat your internal organs, for example, your intestine, okay, under your armpits, your hands, in your reproductive system. So there are these good bacteria, which we call them naturally habitat. They are present from birth. So they are the normal flora. So their number is more. If any foreign bacteria or if any foreign pathogen or microorganism is by chance has an entry inside the body or outside on the skin, then these normal flora, these good bacteria are more. So they can get away with these harmful ones, the potential pathogenic bacteria or potential pathogenic microorganisms. So that is one way of protecting the body from any kind of infection. So these are coming under what? Physical and chemical barriers. Then you have another type of innate immunity, which is known as cellular barriers. Now, under cellular barriers, you have different types of cells. See, the name itself is telling you uh, there are certain cells, or you can say immune cells, which are naturally present from birth. Okay. These are your WBCs, some of the WBCs, macrophages, something known as dendritic cells, something known as natural killer cells. Okay. All of these cells will do what? All of these cells will do phagocytosis. Okay. For example, if this is the target cell and this is the immune cell, your natural killer cell. So what will this cell do? It will release, the immune cell will release certain enzymes or certain, substances which will go and hit the target cell. Okay, so there will be an entry created in the target cell, and then the natural killer cells will release certain harmful chemicals which will act on the target cell. Target cell is something which is infected with any kind of microorganism. Okay, so that then the target cell is then what? It sort of dies. Okay, it's like the natural killer cell has a gun and it releases the bullet, and the bullet goes and attacks the target cell, and once the target cell receives all the bullet and all, so it is dead almost, and then the dead debris or the apoptotic cell that we call it is eaten by the macrophages and the other type of immune cells. Okay, that is what we mean by phagocytosis. So direct engulfment of the infected cell by these immune cells. Okay, so you have this kind of mechanism which act as a natural immune mechanism. So they will recognize any abnormal cells, either such as cancerous cell or any virus infected cell. Okay, then they will attach to them. They will release certain chemicals that will destroy them. Okay, so phagocytic cells will do what? They are present everywhere inside your system. These are the examples that we just underlined: macrophages, dendritic cells, natural killer cells. They will wander through the fluid, interstitial fluid we call, and blood also, and then they will destroy the bacteria and any virally infected cells. Okay, some more examples are like neutrophils, eosinophils. These are the examples we have discussed in detail in chapter 8. Okay, cellular respiration and circulation. So in the next part of the chapter, when we were talking about the blood and the composition of blood, there we have covered all this in detail. What are neutrophils, what are macrophages, eosinophils, and what is their role in protecting the body from any kind of infection. These are all phagocytic in nature, that is, they will eat and engulf the infected cells. Okay, either virally infected or bacterially infected. So this is another type of innate immunity. The first one that we covered was physical, then second chemical, and this third is cellular. Then there is another naturally present barrier known as cytokine barrier. Okay, what is cytokine? Again, certain substances or certain chemicals which will be called as cytokine. They are released from all these immune cells: macrophages, lymphocyte, mast cells, your endothelial cells, your fibroblast cells, granulocytes. Okay, all of these we have covered in chapter 8 in the circulation part. So these cells, they act as your immune cells. They will release certain chemicals, certain enzymes, certain substances which are harmful for any bacterially infected or virally infected or cancerous cells. Okay, these cytokine will go and act on the target cell, and then they will try to kill that particular infected cell. Okay, so these substances, these harmful substances released by the immune cells are known as cytokine. Okay, yes. Also, cytokine act as a signaling molecule. Okay, for example, if any cell is infected by any virus, okay, so in the cell, the immune particles will be released. For example, in case of viruses, mostly interferons are the cytokine. Interferons are certain chemicals or certain substances which will act as the cytokine substances. Okay, so this will be released by the virally infected cell. They will go and signal the other cells. So signals neighboring uninfected cell to destroy the RNA and reduce protein synthesis. Okay, signals neighboring infected cell to undergo apoptosis. Apoptosis means what? Self-killing. self-destruction or self-killing. Okay, what is happening over here? And then finally, it activates all the immune cells. If any one cell is infected by any kind of virus, that cell uh, releases or signals like SOS response, and it signals the other neighboring cells also that the virus is here in the cell. So it might affect you also. And so it sends this signal in the form of interferon. Then this interferon will go and tell all the neighboring cells that viruses are there in the nearby cells. They can come and attack you also. Okay, so they will come and attack you also. So what is the signal? What you have to do? You have to stop your metabolic activities. You have to destroy your metabolic activities. You have to stop working and undergo what? Self-destruction. So what will happen as a result of this? The spread of the virus will not happen. Okay, it will be contained in that particular area only, because if the cells are not there, then the virus will not be able to multiply. Okay, so this is how the neighboring cells will undergo apoptosis and your immune system will be activated in this sense. Okay, so virus-infected cells will secrete proteins called interferons, which protect the non-infected cells from further viral infection. Okay, so these cytokines will go and tell the neighboring cell that you stop working now. It's better to destroy yourself rather than working, and then the virus will infect you, and then you will be hijacked by the virus, and then the virus will multiply and it will spread the virus particle in other areas also. So it's better we destroy ourselves. Okay, so this is how the cytokines act. Yes, so this is an overview of how the phagocytosis happen. So if there is any microbe coming and attacking to a phagocyte, basically then the phagocyte will attach by releasing certain chemicals. It will attach the bacteria or the microorganism. It will take it inside. It will ingest it. It will try to degrade it. Okay, then lysosomes will secrete certain enzymes, lytic enzymes, which will destroy this microorganism. As you see over here, digestive enzymes, they will cut off, chop off the microorganism, that is digestion, and finally killing will take place. So digest is microbe in the phagolysosome, and these are the residual body. Now the microorganism has been killed completely. So this is how phagocytosis will happen in general. Okay, so this is the summary of the innate immunity. We studied the skin, the oral cavity, the stomach, the mucosal surface. So skin, usually they are present where? What is a specific defense? Epidermal in nature. They will protect the whole body from any infection that can happen. Okay, so what is the protective aspect of the skin? They have these keratinized cells of surface and Langerhans cells, which will protect from any kind of infection. Then your skin also produces sweat and secretion, that is the sweat gland and the oil gland. And what is the protective aspect of it? How do they protect us from any infection? Because they have low pH, and then they have this washing action, which will wash away any kind of pathogenic bacteria that is adhered on the skin. Then oral cavity or your nasal and pharynx cavity, they have these salivary glands which secrete these lysosomes, which are lytic in nature. Then your stomach, GI tract, they have low pH, which is protective in nature from any kind of infection. So they will try to kill all the most of the bacteria, pathogenic organism. They cannot withstand this low pH. So hence it is protective in nature. Then your mucosal surface, your mucus, which is secreted by the nose and upper and respiratory tract. So in that, the non-keratinized epithelial cell will act as a protective entity, protecting you from the infection. And then your normal flora, which is also present in the mucosal tissue. This will prevent pathogen from growing on any mucosal surface. So this is a summary of the innate immunity in short. Okay, that's all for this video. In the next video, we will cover the acquired immunity. So innate immunity, the different types of innate immunity we have covered. In the next video, we'll talk about acquired immunity and its types. Thank you. Keep revising, take care, make a note of your difficulties, and you can reach out to me.